Life is a battlefield of control. People want to dictate how you think, how you act, and how you live. But the moment you refuse to bend to their will, something changes. Suddenly, you're difficult. You're rebellious. You're the problem, not because you've done anything wrong, but because you've broken free from their grip. This is the truth. When people can't control you, they'll try to manipulate you. They'll shame you, guilt-trip you, and spread rumors to make you doubt yourself. They'll test your patience, question your choices, and even turn others against you. Why? Because your independence threatens their illusion of power. But this is where Stoicism comes in. The Stoics teach us that external opinions, criticisms, and schemes have no real power unless we let them. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." In this speech, I will show you the Stoic way to handle control tactics, how to stand firm in your own truth, and why mastering yourself is the ultimate power. Because when they can't control you, they'll do everything to shake you. But a true Stoic never breaks. Control is one of the greatest illusions in life. People believe they can dictate your actions, emotions, and decisions, but the truth is, their control only exists if you allow it. Many individuals try to impose their will on others, thinking that dominance equals strength. They use authority, persuasion, or even emotional tactics to shape how you behave. But in reality, control is a fragile concept. It is based on perception, not truth. Think about the times you've felt pressured to conform, whether in family, relationships, or society. That pressure wasn't physical, it was psychological. It was the weight of expectations, the fear of rejection, or the desire for approval. But here's the truth. No one truly controls you unless you surrender your autonomy. The moment you decide to think independently, to act without seeking validation, the illusion begins to shatter. Many people struggle with this realization because it shifts responsibility back onto them. It's easier to believe others are controlling us than to accept that we are allowing it to happen. The Stoics understood this well. They taught that external forces have no real power over a person who governs their own mind. Epictetus famously said, "Man is disturbed not by things, but by the view he takes of them." This means that control isn't about external pressure, it's about internal surrender. When people can't control you, their frustration grows. They expected obedience, compliance, or at least emotional reactions. But when you remain composed, when you make choices based on reason rather than pressure, you expose the illusion for what it is. Control is only real when you give it power. Those who seek to control others do so because they lack control over themselves. When people realize they can't control you, their next move is manipulation. Control isn't always about direct authority. It often disguises itself in subtle psychological tactics. When they see that you won't bend to their will, they resort to emotional games, guilt, intimidation, or even playing the victim to make you question yourself. Manipulation thrives on your emotions. People will use your kindness, loyalty, or fear of conflict against you. They might say, "After everything I've done for you, this is how you treat me?" Or, "You've changed, and not for the better." These words are not reflections of your character. They are attempts to make you doubt your own path. The goal is to weaken your resolve, to make you second-guess your independence, and ultimately to force you back under their influence. The Stoics warned against emotional entanglement in the games of others. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed." When you recognize manipulation for what it is, you take away its power. Instead of reacting emotionally, you step back and analyze the situation logically. Is this person genuinely concerned for your well-being, or are they upset because they can no longer control you? More often than not, it's the latter. Manipulation isn't about love, care, or concern. It's about self-interest. When people can't control you, they seek to control how you see yourself. They will twist narratives, create false guilt, and stir drama to make you feel like the problem. But the truth is, standing firm in your independence exposes their motives. Their frustration is not a reflection of your wrongdoings, it's a sign that they are losing their grip. Emotional detachment is one of the greatest strengths a person can develop. When people realize they can't control you through force or manipulation, they will try to provoke emotional reactions. They will push your buttons, insult you, or create situations designed to trigger anger, guilt, or fear. Why? Because the moment you react emotionally, they regain control. People who seek control thrive on your responses. If they can make you angry, they know they have influence over your mood. If they can make you feel guilty, they can steer your decisions. If they can make you afraid, they can limit your actions. But when you master emotional detachment, you strip them of their power. You become untouchable, not because you don't feel emotion, but because you don't allow emotions to dictate your behavior. The Stoics believed that true power comes from within. Epictetus said, "Anyone who angers you becomes your master." This means that if someone's words or actions can control your emotional state, they control you. Instead of reacting impulsively, step back and observe. Ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Is this an attempt to manipulate me? By choosing to remain calm and unshaken, you shift the balance of power. Detachment does not mean indifference. It means control. It means refusing to let others dictate your inner peace. It means maintaining a state of mental clarity, even when others try to stir chaos. People who can't control you will test your patience, hoping to break your composure. But when you refuse to engage in their emotional warfare, they are left powerless. Silence is one of the most powerful tools in your arsenal. When people realize they can't control you, they will try to pull you into arguments, debates, and emotional battles to force a reaction. They will demand explanations, twist your words, and try to trap you in endless conversations designed to wear you down. But when you respond with silence, you take away their ability to manipulate the situation. Most people underestimate the power of saying nothing. They feel the need to defend themselves, to explain their choices, or to correct false accusations. But the more you engage, the more ammunition you give them. The Stoics understood this well. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best answer to anger is silence." By refusing to react, you deny them the emotional fuel they seek. Silence disarms people because it leaves them uncertain. They don't know if you're ignoring them out of strength or if you simply don't care. Either way, they lose control. Their attempts to provoke you become meaningless, and their need for validation goes unanswered. When you withhold your words, you force them to confront their own frustration. More importantly, silence protects your energy. Instead of wasting time justifying yourself to those who don't respect you, you redirect your focus to what truly matters. People who can't control you will try to exhaust you with words, but when you choose silence, you remind them, and yourself, that their opinions hold no weight in your world. Self-mastery is the ultimate power. When people can't control you, they realize that you are not easily influenced, swayed, or broken. This frustrates them because most people are controlled by their emotions, desires, and the opinions of others. But when you master yourself, your thoughts, emotions, and reactions, you become untouchable. The Stoics believed that true strength comes from within. Seneca said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." This means that real freedom isn't about escaping external control, but about conquering your own mind. Most people live in reaction to the world around them. They get angry when provoked, insecure when criticized, and fearful when pressured. But those who practice self-mastery remain steady, regardless of external circumstances. When you control yourself, you don't need validation from others. You don't chase approval, nor do you fear rejection. You understand that happiness and peace come from within, not from pleasing people or conforming to expectations. This makes you dangerous to those who seek to manipulate, because their usual tactics, fear, guilt, shame, no longer work on you. People who can't control you will try to frustrate you, insult you, or push you into making impulsive decisions. But self-mastery means you dictate your own responses. Instead of reacting, you remain calm. Instead of arguing, you remain focused. Instead of seeking revenge, you stay in control. And when you have full control over yourself, no one else can ever have power over you. When you refuse to be controlled, expect resistance. People who are used to manipulating others do not easily accept defiance. They will push back, not because you are wrong, but because your independence threatens their sense of power. They expected you to follow their lead, to submit to their expectations, and to fit into their version of who you should be. When you don't, they see it as a challenge. Resistance can come in many forms. Some will try to argue with you, hoping to break your confidence. Others will withdraw their support, making you feel isolated. Some will turn to gossip, painting you as selfish, rebellious, or ungrateful. The goal is to make you question yourself, to force you into submission through pressure and doubt. But remember, this reaction is not a reflection of your choices. It's a reflection of their inability to accept them. The Stoics prepared for resistance by strengthening their minds. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." This means that resistance is only a problem if you allow it to be. When you expect it, you are not caught off guard. When you understand it, you don't take it personally. People who resist your independence are revealing their own weakness, not yours. Instead of bending under pressure, stand firm. Let their resistance be proof that you are on the right path, because true strength is met with opposition. Reputation is just perception. When people can't control you, they often resort to attacking your image, spreading false narratives, or twisting the truth to make you look like the villain. They do this because they know that most people fear being misunderstood or judged. But a Stoic understands that reputation is nothing more than an opinion, an illusion shaped by others, not a reflection of who you truly are. Seneca said, "What difference does it make how I am regarded by another, if I know that I am good?" This is the essence of inner strength, knowing your own character so well that external judgment becomes meaningless. Most people spend their lives trying to maintain a certain image, bending over backward to please others, to fit in, to be liked. But the moment you stop caring about perception, you become free. People will say you've changed, that you're difficult, selfish, or arrogant. They'll use your independence as proof that something is wrong with you. But the truth is, their frustration comes from losing their influence over you. When you no longer seek approval, their words lose power. Your reputation is not your responsibility. Your character is. Focus on who you are, not how you are perceived. The more you live according to your own values, the less control others have over your life. Stay grounded in reason. When people can't control you, they will try to pull you into emotional chaos. They'll use anger, guilt, and fear to cloud your judgment, hoping to make you act impulsively. But the Stoics teach that logic and reason are the true shields against manipulation. The moment you allow emotions to dictate your choices, you hand over control. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This means that no matter what people say or do, you always have the ability to think clearly and respond rationally. Instead of getting caught up in their drama, step back and ask yourself, is this worth my energy? What are the facts? What outcome do I want? When you focus on reason, you refuse to be dragged into pointless conflicts. Most people react emotionally because they lack self-awareness. They let insults trigger their pride, they let guilt shape their actions, and they let fear stop them from making bold choices. But those who live by logic remain steady. They analyze situations, weigh their options, and move with purpose. When you operate from reason, you frustrate those who seek to control you. They want an emotional reaction, but you give them nothing. This makes them powerless because their usual tactics, pressure, criticism, and manipulation, fail against someone who thinks for themselves. Your freedom is their fear. When people can't control you, they become uncomfortable because your independence exposes their own limitations. Most people live within the boundaries set by others, seeking approval, avoiding conflict, and conforming to expectations. But when you break free from this pattern, it forces them to confront a truth they'd rather ignore. They too have the power to live on their own terms, but they choose not to. People who crave control often do so because they lack control over themselves. They fear uncertainty, they fear losing influence, and most of all, they fear seeing someone else live with the freedom they secretly desire. Instead of admitting their own insecurities, they project them onto you. They label you as reckless, selfish, or difficult. Not because you are, but because your ability to stand alone highlights their dependence on external validation. The Stoics understood that true freedom is internal. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." This means that real independence isn't about escaping people, it's about escaping the need for their approval. The more self-sufficient you become, the more you intimidate those who rely on control. Your freedom is a mirror, reflecting their own fears back at them. Some will admire it, others will resent it, but none will be able to ignore it.